Welcome back to the channel for another 40k report.
You fell into the trap.
Time for more Tau. I've changed my list up from my first outing with them, ditching the broadsides and pathfinders, and adding some Vespid, more Kroot, 2 units of Kroot hounds, and another crisis suit.
Glad if you're going, do it properly.
I'm also trying out a ghost keel, mainly cause I just freaking love the model. Do note that this battle was played on the Thursday that the new points and dataslate dropped, and we're not using those rules in the battle. So, this'll be my last report not using the latest rules. Anyway, let's start the timer, and take a look at the rosters. So we're playing tear down their icons, and for secondaries I choose bring it down, grind them down, and R&D, while sisters go for defend the shrine, sacred grounds, and no prisoners. Here's deployment, after pre-game moves as well. We're playing the tall structures as obscuring in this game. Most of my force is concentrated in my back corner behind terrain, with my short-range crisis suits and deep strike, along with the Vespid, a better angle of my back corner. Pretty crowded there. Free strategic reserves with Arcs of Omen will be a godsend. Here's a better shot of the top of my deployment. Dunno if you can really see, but my Kroot hounds are third-party models which are little spiky dog robots.
Hi doggy. And
a better shot of Sister's crowded back corner. They have nothing in deep strike or reserve. An immolator pre-game move down onto their bottom objective, though, which they choose as their shrine. So, I get the first turn, and move like so. First things first, my ethereal invokes both of his powers, and doesn't roll a snake eyes.
Wow, that's almost impossible.
Long strike, the ghost keel, and the riptide can all get a beat on the lone immolator. I'm not able to get any marker lights on it, though. The crisis suits just move so that 2 of them are in range of the penitent engines. Up here, the topmost Kroot stay on the objective but keep a few in cover, while the Krootox and Kroot hounds stay behind terrain, as there's no point exposing them yet. The riptide shows jump shoot jump on its Nova reactor, so it can hopefully back up to safety later on. In shooting, the crisis suits kill 2 of the penitent engines and then jump back to safety. But I fail to kill the immolator.
This is crazy!
Yep, sisters popped smoke on it, long strike missed with the railgun, and everyone else whiffed. The only wounds were done by, I think, a seeker missile from long strike and maybe like 1 wound from the ghost keel. Please note that my opponent marks wounds differently to me. The 7 here means 7 wounds suffered, whereas I mark how many wounds my models have left. So, the immolator has 4 wounds left here. I needed 1 wound to get through from the riptide, and it failed me. The riptide then retreats with a modest roll on its Nova reactor. Not quite as far as I'd have liked, but I thought it'd be reasonably safe.
Not a great plan.
So just 2 points for bring it down in turn 1, then, for killing 2 penitent engines.
Get what you can.
Sisters turn 1. He rushes to bolster his shrine objective with several units, as another immolator and the penitent engines rush forwards. His exorcist stays on his home objective behind the obscuring, while a squad does sacred ground there too. His retributors and a large vanilla squad also start to come forward. In shooting, he's able to get an angle on the forwardmost unit of hounds, and deletes them easily. He targets the topmost unit of Kroot on the objective, though, with a lot of bolter fire and even indirect fire from the scary exorcist. But due to poor rolls from him and good armor saves from me I think I maybe lose 1, or possibly 0.
I'm still here.
The riptide isn't quite protected by obscuring terrain, though, and the retributor squad with 4 multi-meltas and a cherub can draw a bead on him. They lay into him and bring him down to just 2 wounds remaining.
That sucked. That fucking sucked.
Simply terrible overextension of the riptide there, and I paid the price. At least he's still alive I guess. My turn 2. and we need to get some payback fast.
I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves!
My backfield heavy hitters all have good options. I deep strike my short-range crisis team over here to help clear out his shrine objective. Because of my commander's relatively low movement and the fact that the backfield crisis team will be jumping back behind terrain again, I don't have enough movement to leapfrog him over to the next crisis team yet, so he's consigned to re-roll duty. In hindsight, I don't think I should have been quite so timid with the backfield crisis team. They would probably have been fine to risk a turn in the open now. The stealth suits which were here use wall of mirrors to go into reserve. I nestle my central Kroot unit a bit better against the terrain. And over here, I run my remaining Kroot hounds onto the objective to help bolster it. The Krootox stays back. He will have no use in this match as far as I can see. So shooting goes pretty well, although really needed to go slightly better. Both of the transports and the remaining penitent engines are destroyed, and I managed to clear out most of the shrine objective, but 2 sacrosancts survive and keep the shrine defended. I gave the deep-struck crisis team full rerolls to hit for 2 CP, but without any marker lights down there it wasn't quite good enough.
Frankly, I'm disappointed.
Burst cannons kinda suck. I may try to squeeze in some better weapons in future. Oh, I've now RND'd in 2 quarters. 2. Sisters turn 2. They send a squad of sisters to bolster their shrine objective, along with 3 characters. Another squad boldly takes the central objective and starts the Sacred Grounds action. Their retributors and 10-man troop squads start coming forward, along with Morvenval. FYI, I know it's not pronounced retributors, I just can't get this frickin' thing to say it any other way.
Thing sucks!
Here's a better shot of the bulk of the Sororitas infantry coming towards me. In shooting, they easily finish off the Riptide, and wipe out the Kroot that were holding the objective over here. They also kill all but one of the hounds. After a CP Morel re-roll, the last surviving hound sticks around on the objective.
Hi, doggy.
If you think I'm not gonna obnoxiously overuse that clip every single time I talk about Kroot hounds from now on, you're sorely mistaken. So quick points tally at the end of round 2. We both have 8 for primaries, and I've scored a total of 11 for secondaries, while sisters have scored 7, so Tau currently lead 19-15. My turn 3, and Kayan finally kicks in.
This is where the fun begins.
I absolutely need to kill that sister squad on the central objective, so part of my fire base gets them in their sights, as the central Kroot unit pops out of cover ready to finish the job if needs be. My close-range crisis team moves threateningly towards the shrine objective. The stealth suits also pop out of their wall of mirrors down here to help out.
Surprise, motherfucker!
And the Vespid deep strike in the top corner of Sisters deployment.
Surprise, motherfucker!
They take the opportunity to RND, putting me on 8 points for that secondary now. In shooting, the Central Sisters get mullered. And down here, the normal squad is also wiped out, but only 1 Sacrosant is slain. Oh, also Long Strike fires sub-munitions at the retributors, killing 4, while the strike team pop out of hiding and kill another 1. My crisis team then make a desperate charge at the last Sacrosant. They don't manage to kill her, and lose a drone for their trouble, but they do contest the objective now, taking it away from Sisters.
I drink your milkshake.
The Kroot also take the opportunity to charge the retributors, killing 1 and losing 1. Sisters turn 3, and they're only on their home objective, so just score 4 for primaries. Morvenval stomps forward, as Junith and the big squad head towards the Kroot hound.
Hi, doggy.
Stop it.
And the wailing Repentia surge towards the shrine objective, with a miracle dice advance. A closer look at that scary situation. In shooting, the Exorcist targets Long Strike with its artillery strat, but Long Strike makes 3 saves, rolling 3 6s and taking no damage.
So, what you're saying is, I'm indestructible.
The Repentia and characters all make a charge into the crisis suits down here. But it's a bit whiffalicious, and 1 crisis suit actually survives. In the center, Morven charges the Kroot to help out, but 4 Kroot survive, and I still keep the objective. My turn 4. We have to end the game after this battle round, by the way. Not a ton of movement, as my remaining crisis squad's been a bit timid and can't reach the shrine objective. Long Strike moves to draw a bead on Morven after the Kroot fall back. Importantly, the Vespid move up and steal Sister's home objective. In shooting, a well-aimed shot from Long Strike kills Morven.
Railed.
The Fire Warriors also finish off the retributors with a buffed-up volley. Down here, I also slay the straggling Repentia Superior, but don't quite manage to wipe out the Repentia themselves. Still, a good turn all told. Sisters turn 4, And they're back to 8 for primaries. Essentially, these characters wipe out the central recruit. Junith and her cohort try to take out Longstrike but he survives on 2 wounds. The Sacrosanct finishes off the 1 crisis suit, and the Repentia try to charge the stealth suits but get wiped out in Overwatch. I think that's about it, so let's take a look at the scores. So Tau just about take it, 59-54, which is my first Tau victory. I managed to score grind in turns 2, 3, and 4, and scored 8 for primaries each turn, while Sisters slipped slightly behind. Would it have remained a Tau victory if we'd been able to play turn 5? I think it's likely, as I should be able to score another 15 points fairly easily, while I think Sisters would struggle to score more than 9, but we obviously can't say for definite. And we're done bang on time. I'll include a brief post-battle summary and not count it towards the time limit.
Arrest me.
My army functioned much better than last time, with the inclusion of smaller units to take objectives and move more around the board. In fact, the actions of auxiliaries contributed to a 12-point difference, I think. My head's spinning a little from the new rules and points changes, though. Not needing to take troops will allow me to absorb the points increases elsewhere and take more dangerous stuff, but then again I think troops will still prove indispensable. Fire warriors even seem scary again now with Armor of Contempt gone. The ghost kill seemed a little lackluster and I'm not sure what to make of it, really. Its stealth field was never relevant and it was never particularly threatening. I won't necessarily write it off, though. Likewise, my Enforcer Commander just wasn't needed this time and felt like a big waste of over 200 points. At some point I may experiment with a cheaper and faster Cold Star. Kayan? Hell yes. I love how it means depleted forces in the late game can actually put out more firepower than the whole army in turns 1 and 2. Definitely seems like the way to go. Well, I won't ramble much longer. A very fun and very close match, that could easily have gone the other way if a couple of things or a couple of rolls had gone differently. Thanks to my opponent, and thanks for watching my report. If you liked it, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing and all that. If you didn't like it,
why didn't you just go home and have your dinner?